Hello, it's Indy from DigVentures, and today I'm giving another virtual site tour, this time not from home, but from site. So I'm at Pontefract in Yorkshire, where if you remember we were in October 2019 looking for a drawbridge pit. So today we're back there, and we've been here for 2 weeks and a 3-week-long project, and we're determined to find the bottom of this drawbridge pit. Now, I'm going to give a virtual site tour because due to COVID-19 we're not encouraging visitors to come have a look on site, so hopefully you can get a good idea of what we're doing on this video. So I'm currently stood in the modern entrance to the castle, which is the west gate. Now in the medieval period, if you wanted to access the castle, you'd have to come through either the west or the east gate, where you'd be met by barbican walls and a moat, which you can see some of left there. Now quite a lot of this castle, as you can see, it's now in ruins. It was disassembled after the Civil War as the locals were just so sick of people fighting over it, and the reason that people fought over it was a really strong strategic position. You essentially had to get through Pontefract if you wanted to get any further north or south, so this is a very important castle. It's gifted to Ilibert de Lacy in 1070 following William the Conqueror, where the first stone castle is built here. It's built on a rocky outcrop, built with a moat and a strong house or keep behind me, and you'd have had to have been guided through this west or east gatehouse down to the main gatehouse, which is where we're excavating. So let's go there. So Chris, will you give us a tour of the excavation area?
Go on then. We're here at the end of the second week in the Drawbridge pit at Pontefract Castle, and we've made pretty good progress. It's a little bit deeper than we thought it was going to be. Not sure quite yet how far down it's going to go, but I'm hoping we're going to hit the bottom at some point today or the start of next week. We've made some quite interesting finds. We've found more of the mason's marks, which we found last year. As we've excavated down, we've revealed more of the masonry, which have more of the same and some new mason's marks on the walls. As well as that, we've found some interesting stonework projecting from the sides of the pit. We've got these two large kind of corbels or stones, which would presumably have been used to support some kind of timber horizontal or vertical beams, which would have formed part of the drawbridge itself. As we've got down a little bit deeper, we've also found some interesting holes in the walls. Now we've only just started to see the tops of those, so we've still got a little bit of exploring to do there. Also of interest were these two really large stones. Quite curious, they're very similar size, they're flat. They could have been used to support timber uprights. Now they were put into the drawbridge pit at a later date, so it could be that there was no longer a drawbridge. Maybe there was a more permanent wooden bridge which came out of the gatehouse, and these were used as the footings, the bases of those timber uprights to support the bridge. But we'll see as we dig down. We'll work it out. But there is no way that these are getting lifted out of here. These are very large, heavy stones, which is more than our winch will manage. Now, we've also found our cliff face. So this is the moat. This is a natural cliff face which has been worked, and it is very steep. It's very steep. It's steeper than we thought. I thought it was coming down at more of an angle, but as we've gone down, it just gets more and more vertical, which hopefully at some point it'll start to flatten out and we'll actually get to the base. The material that we've had out from these lower deposits does feel like that 15th century material, the nice glazed medieval pottery which we're expecting and hoping for a bit more of. We've also had some more metal work, quite a few bits and pieces coming out, some large pieces of iron towards the base, and quite an odd little bronze piece, very heavy, still yet to identify that. So hopefully, as we keep going, we'll find some more of the same and be able to work out exactly how old the Drawbridge pit will be. So,
David here, and we're currently sat on the wall of the gatehouse. Behind me, the spoil heap is where the moat would have been, and this would have continued all the way along towards the visitor centre, probably about 10 metres wide. Yeah, so let's talk about some of the finds. Chris alluded to some of them, but I thought I'd go into some more detail. So we have the standard animal bone. We have large bits and bits of rib, that sort of thing. Probably sort of sheep and cattle, and it's the stuff that people would have thrown in the pit when they're, finished with their lunch, let's go in the pit. Now moving on to the pottery. This is the stuff that we can use for dating, because you can really distinguish the different periods. Now, this stuff we think is called humberware and dates to the 14th century, which is when John of Gaunt built the gatehouse and the castle. So this is really, really important stuff to sort of find, and it's definite evidence. Moving on to the metalwork. Now, this big piece of iron is, it's difficult to say. I mean, we'll be able to say something more when it's x-rayed, but it could be some sort of fitting, like a bracket. What do you reckon it is? Because I'm not really sure. Looks like a big nail. And then the really nice copper bronze find that we found yesterday, that Chris spoke about earlier. It could be some sort of fitting. On the back here, it could have been fitted to stone. It's difficult to say. And maybe there was some sort of wood like going along here and would just slotted in and sort of gone across the Drawbridge pit. What do you think it is? Because I don't know. So the cannonballs are probably shot from a smaller gun, and it's interesting because you assume that they'd be iron shot. However, iron shot is quite expensive in terms of the material it takes to make, and the gunpowder. These actually use a lot less. Now, when they're fired out, it's kind of a one-shot sort of thing, because when they impact the walls, they're probably going to shatter into little pieces. My personal favourite in terms of artefacts that we found on this site.
So that concludes our virtual site tour of Pontefract Castle, the Gatehouse or Drawbridge pit. So we hope you enjoyed that. If you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, because next week we've got a dig diary coming out where we hopefully are going to have reached the bottom, and you'll see all the goodies that come out of the trench. So if you want to see live updates between then, you can go to the link in the description below to see live updates on the Pontefract page on our website. And so from all of us, which, can we see Chris? Chris, we can see you.